Hello, Cherries. Welcome to Live Cherry Sunday, episode 239. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to connect triads and their inversions to the 5 minor pentatonic shapes or positions. And this is going to be really, really cool. What we have here is minor pentatonic. There's a minor chord, E minor chord. And I'm going to go through all of the 5 minor pentatonic shapes. And I'm going to connect triads, minor triads, and the minor triad inversion. So it's only going to be an E minor triad, but within the different inversions, like the first inversion, second inversion, root version. And I'm going to do it on different string sets as well, focusing on the top string set, which is the E, the B, and the E string, right here. The G string. E, B, G. Then you have the B, G, and D string. Then you have the G, D, and A string. That's the third string set. And then the D, the A, and the E. Hello, Ozman. What's happening? Give you a round of applause. Let me know if you can hear my guitar and everything here today. And my voice. Took me a little bit to get a sound here for some reason. I took a few pedals off to do a gig, and that was a mistake. I come back and everything sounds different for some reason. Swapped out a few pedals. Kicked on this MXR booster. So hopefully you can hear that. Everything's good. So let me switch over to this. Give you a little example of what we have here. So we all know that the beautiful first position E minor pentatonic scale right here, right? Just like that. And we're really going to focus on just the top 3 strings here. The open E, the B, the B string. Now look what you have right here. Here's the first triad. Sounds good. Thank you, Ozman. Good to have some honest people out there who'll let me know the truth. So, you have the open G, B, and E. That's really an E minor chord, just like I'm playing right here, E minor. Just the top strings. So that's really a first inversion E minor triad, because you're starting on the third, which is the G note. You have the B, which is the fifth. Then you have the E, which is your root note. So if I was playing this minor pentatonic scale right here, it would be like this. The E. I'm not even going to hit the top part of this pentatonic. I'm just going to hit this E. Just a good practice, because I'm going to have different starting points, and I don't want to exceed the starting point. Just for practice, just like an organizational thing. But this is the scale right here, and it's like E, G. I'm going to hit it right now. So you can go ahead and just hit that if you want. I'm really just focusing on the top 3 strings. But I really want to focus on the E minor triad right there. And if you're limited to just this position, it'll, cause you to really just kind of focus in on dialing in what the notes are here. The notes are. And you have your E minor pentatonic, which is E, D, B, A, and G. But also just your triads are just the E, the B, and the G. So I can focus really, I can land on any one of those notes safely if I was playing an E minor chord. So I have a loop here of just an E minor. Check this out. And if I was playing this minor pentatonic scale, it would sound like this. Right? We all know that right there. But I'm going to focus on just the top 3 strings right here. Bend up. Right here. It's an open chord, minor triad. Can't go wrong with that. Real simple. Bend up the seventh to the root. Some vibrato. Take this second note, this A. Bend it up to the B, to the fifth. I'm not going to bend this G up at all. I'm going to leave it on G because that's the minor third. Not a blues. All right. Man. That pick you have up is wrong. What pick did I have up is wrong? So you're saying I have a pick that's up, that's wrong, of my, my thumbnail? I don't know what that is, what that means right there, but I'll check it out just to be safe, on the safe side. Mapping minor triads. That's the one. What's wrong with that? What is wrong with that? I don't know. So that is the first one. If you're enjoying this video so far, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. And mapping minor triads. How is that confusing there, by the way? I don't know. Let me know. I want to know if I'm being confusing at all. Okay, so we'll go on to the second one right here. Robbie H. Love. You had a picture of basic pent shape, just not open position. Oh, right. Is that what you're talking about? This pick? Yeah, I was wrong. Okay. This pick in the graph. Why did I think the thumbnail you're talking about? Well, I'm sorry, it's a little bit confusing. When we're dealing with this, I grabbed these graphs pretty quick. I was kind of in a rush here this morning. I was fiddling with my sound and I couldn't get a sound here. But so I grabbed the first group of minor triad sets that I had. And so just so you know, this is a movable position too, which is great. So just know that this is an open position. The first notes you're seeing, the E, the A, the D, G, B, that's really open. But what's good about this too is when we take it up to the 12th fret, that's what it is right here. You're going to have to bar those anyway. So there's no real finger positions right there. And that's at the 12th fret. That's right, my knees hurt. So that pick is at the 12th fret right here. And I'll have all new graphics for this later on. If you want a copy of these graphs, I'll email me at info@jerrycherry. I'll send this to you. But and I'll be a little bit more specific about it. But right now, that's just the basic shape that you're looking at of the E minor position 1. And that's going to be open, which will be, that first line of notes will be just the open strings. And G, E, D, B, A, G, E, D, B, A, G, E, like that. But we're only focusing on the top part right here for now. And we'll get up to the 12th, which is up here. Which works well over this E minor loop that we were doing. You know? Just hit this open. like to limit what we could do here, like just with these notes. Just land on the triad, which I don't have a picture of the triad right here either, but I'll have that in the my edited video of this when I get to that later on this week. It'll focus on just hitting these triads. This open E, open B, open G. It's a triad. You close this triad to this position. See, because you're hitting this position right here. So why not? Here's a triad. Each one of these three notes, you're safe to play, to land on. And have some licks. Okay. So we'll go over to, oops, we'll close that out and we'll go over to this one right here. Now here's the second one. Okay, just the second, it's just the position graph. It's not really lined up like that, like on the fretboard right there, you know. It would be like this, starting on the G and the 3rd fret. Now don't confuse this with what we did last week, the pentatonic, major pentatonic. This is the shape, this is shape 1 of major pentatonic, but look, we're focusing on the E note. It's completely different in there if you focus on the E. I mean, it's the same notes, just that we're attacking different things. We're targeting their different intervals here. Like for instance, this would be on the lower position, an E chord triad. Whereas that would be a G chord. Because we play the 6 in there, which is the E note. So yeah, so if you look at this graph here, you want to focus on where the root notes are, where the E's are. Now once again, we're going to take just the top 3 notes right here on the string set. So any questions about this stuff, let me know. Let's just have a sip of coffee real quick. Let me know what you're drinking. Then we'll move on to this next position, and we'll get into some minutia here and have some fun. I got my Italian espresso coffee, and it's really good, but it's really sad that I'm coming to the end of it here. But I'm happy to be here with you guys, rocking and rolling, playing some guitar. That's what I love to do. That's what I live for. And hopefully you're enjoying this. Any questions so far, let me know. We're just getting started here. And I just whipped out the best graphs that I had readily available for me here. So don't be too hard on me, guys, all right? You want to beat me up on a Sunday? Come on. I'll put my gloves on. All right, well, here's the second shape. Forget about where it is on the fretboard. You got to, get past the stuff where perfectionism here. All right, my knees hurt. Just woke up, but I assume we'll be drinking a beer. Awesome. Just like Jim Morrison, right? So that's the shape when you see that. It's movable. Well, in this case, it's really not movable because it's a G. It's an E, right, is where it is. But just you know where the E is right here. You got to know that this is the E. Where that E is lit up right there on the D string, you know that's an E. So you know we're going to be here. So then that first thing on the left, the first bar on the left is going to be open positions, essentially. No, actually, it's not. That would be the first fret, the F right here. That would be there. So up here is what we're looking at in this particular case. Or whatever. So we're playing E minor pentatonic. But if you look at just the top 3 strings here, it really limits you there, right? So if I was to jam with this, it would be well, first of all, here's a triad shape. Because that's what we're looking for here. Here's the E minor triad. Second inversion, because you have your B note here, your E, and your 3rd. So whenever you start on the 5th, that's your second inversion. This is the first inversion, because you're starting on the 3rd. The 3rd, the 5th, and the root. Here you have this 5th, the root, and the 3rd. So that's the second inversion. But you have all the notes you need in an E minor triad. The fifth, the root, and the third. It's an open E minor, here's an E minor. But if I'm playing in this position right here, look, it's right there. So if I'm soloing an E minor pentatonic, why not? Here's the chord. So if I had a little loop here like this, it's like, look, it fits the chord. This chord that you hear in the background is just an open E minor like this, which is this first inversion. Now I'm playing it here. You can take it all the way up the neck, you know, up to the octave. Keep it going up here. This is a hard one. So it's just a way to easily get up the neck. Now in this triad, the beauty of it is that you could sit on any one of these notes perfectly. And the fifth, just give it a little vibrato, you know? Here's the root. Third. The fifth. That's what I like to hear, Christian Bale. Is this the official Christian Bale, the real, the actor from The Fighter, the Batman movies? Christian Bale? Pretty cool. Thank you very much for that. Multiple ways to bring your name up there, just realized. Right there, so check it out. But one thing I'm kind of concentrating on too is this is my high note right here, right? Of this shape, G. That I could sit on. I could play the A here. You really can't sit on this A too long. Once it suspends, you know, it's like it wants to go down. Because it really wants to resolve to any one of these notes right here. So yeah, and if we went to this next shape that we all know and love, it's the third position. We just take it up right here. Know where all the roots are. E is here. E is right there. But we're focusing on just the top three strings. Now why? Not many people really focus on just the top three strings here. But it's a good practice. You know, to kind of take in different string sets, you'll limit yourself to things you could do, and you'll have to really make the most of it. And you could really kind of focus on particular things, specific things, like where the triad is here, where the five, because it's still got just 5 notes here, and that's the A, the G, the E, the D, and the B. You have all the notes you need right there in the 5 pentatonic shape. Different ways to bend to the root. Like in the last one here, you took the E, the D up to the E. Like that. Now, you're in this position. It's a little bit meatier here. Than it is right here, right? It's a little thinner. Listen to it here. And always try to bend up perfectly. Here's no vibrating. Oops. What that fifth is right there. Now, where's the triad right there? Well, in this position, there is no triad shape. So you can either go back to this one, or you can go up to the next one, to the root version triad. So you got, or go down, you know? But there's no real triad that kind of fits in this position. You have to kind of go up, which in a sense goes up to the next minor pentatonic shape, which we'll play right here. Well, actually, let's just go back to here and just kind of do a little bit of a play over the loop here. Let me know if you can hear the chord, the background loop. I lowered it a little bit. I'm not sure if it's too low. I think it's good, based on what I hear. See? Just kind of landing on the, here's the triad. There's a triad right there. Cool, right? So just simple as a pimple. We did this one. Going up to here. Now we're up here. We got little licks we could mess around with. Just have some fun with it. Practice opening up the fretboard horizontally. It took me a lifetime to figure out the difference between vertical and horizontal. Right? Vertical and horizontal. What is the difference? The only way I was able to really remember that is like the horizon of the ocean. If you're looking at the ocean from the beach, you see the horizon. Well, that's horizontal. That's the only way I knew how to remember that. Association, right? Volume is good. Thank you so much, Vanessa. I'm going to give you a round of applause for that. And we're here on a Sunday live, rocking with you, going through these great shapes, acknowledging the triads. And I'm not sure that's something that, excuse me, I have like a hair in my eye right there. I'm not sure that's something that everyone really does, because, you know, you could burn through these pentatonic shapes, but actually digging a little bit deeper and going, well, where are the E minor triads in there as well? Because you might hear this loop, and it's just kind of playing this E minor chord. That might be the only E minor chord you know. But you have this open thing, you have this here that you can play, you have this here that we've already played. You know? So it's good to open that up within these shapes. And speaking of shapes, if you go to this fourth position right here, oops, you have, where is it? Yeah, right here. Fourth shape. Everyone knows this and loves this shape right here. It's, you have that E right there. E down here. Right? So on the top part of it, That's a very standard position right there, number 4, position 4 of E minor. Maybe it's not too standard, but I like this position. What's cool about this, like in the context of the blues, you have those licks like, but you have that everywhere. Up here. But we're not gonna really get into that because that's really just kind of messing with the minor third a little bit, manipulating it, just bending it a little bit. But we're playing just strictly minor here, minor blues. So we're not gonna bother by messing with the minor third right there. So time to walk the dogs before it gets hot. I thought you were making hot dogs. All right, cool. Walk the dog, but come back. Get those dogs walked. Come back, rock with us. Thanks, Osman. And so this is a really good area right here. Working our way up the neck. And look, you have the triad right here. Here's the E, the third. Here's the minor triad. All right, Osman. Cool. Like that. There. Here. Practice kind of going between these three. Pretty cool. If you want to improvise over that, you have over this E minor chord. And the beauty of this is within this minor pentatonic, you have the triad. I'm landing on this note because it's part of the triad. I can play the pentatonic scale. And you have positions to bend there. So I can bend up to the E here. Bend up to the third to the fourth. Bend to the fifth from the fifth to the B. I mean from the fourth to the fifth. So here's the 3 notes you want to target. Bend up to the fifth. Here's the 5th degree in your triad. Root, 3rd, 5th. I'm going to bend up to it. And the weird thing about the minor pentatonic is that the distance between the root and the third, is a minor third because it's a minor interval, right? So if you want to bend that, you have to bend a pretty wide bend. Pretty cool bend, right? Right? The only problem with that is sometimes it puts you out of tune. Be careful. See how my E string is, my G string is. It's alright. It survived. Right there. Okay, so So it's really, really good position. And now we go to this next one, the last one, the position 5. You have. Now I know I have no fret markers on these, but just, you have to get to the point where you don't need them. You could see this shape and go, yeah, I know this is position 5. And the notes are all even indicated there. So you have this whole 12th fret right there. You have the E, B, G, D, A, E. Now these graphs are kind of like, when you're looking down on your guitar neck. If you're, I guess, a righty, right? You'd look right down, and that's how it looks. That's how your neck looks when you look down on it. I look down and I see the D, E, G. Some people get confused by that. But I think it's more widely acknowledged or accepted, this position of graphs. I try going the other way, and most people are like, it's more confusing. So E, D, B, A. Focus on where all the E's are. Okay, so even if we took just this top string set right here, we have a new position. So we had this one, then we had this one, then we had this one, then we had this one, now we have this one. And that's why I kind of like starting on just like the one note here, because you could hear how I'm climbing up in positions. I'm taking the E, and I'm starting on the G for the next one, and then the A, then the B, now the D, the last note. These are the 5 notes of the pentatonic going horizontally. Right? You play this whole thing just like this. Alright, so anyway, this last position right here. Where's the triad in there? Well, once again, we're going to jump up to this one. I mean, we did this one already for the last position 4. It's sitting right there. But this one's right here. This triad, which is just an octave up from the open G, B, E. 12th fret is a whole new fretboard. Just like if everything's open, this is the very beginning again. Same notes. So we have the same triad right here to play this. So if we were playing this loop, you can rest on this whole triad. Or any one of these notes. Bend up to here. Bend up to the fifth. And hit the seventh here. Or the root. Bend up the G to the A. Any questions about this, let me know. If this is too simple. It's very simple, and I like to focus on simple things. I mean, not everybody knows this stuff. So I think it's pretty important. Right here. Right? Any questions? Let me know. So it's really good to know the shapes right here and the positions. Finny, been watching the whole time as I prepare meats for my smoker. Gonna run it back with the guitar in hand soon. Awesome. That's the great thing about this too. You can always run it back, watch it again later. A lot of people do, actually. I'm grateful for you guys hanging out here live with me today, because I could throw some ideas back and forth. That's the whole point of this. If any ideas, any questions, any gripes or concerns, you can keep that to yourself. No. Let me know. If you have any, here's a question too that I like to ask up front is, how do you connect minor triads to the minor pentatonic positions? Do you even think about it? It's like I was saying earlier, I mean, not a lot of people even concern themselves with thinking about where the triads are within the pentatonic shapes. I think it's really cool, and I think like the next step up on this too, which we'll deal with a little bit further on, is that instead of playing the minor triads here, like this right here, right here, right here, right here. Eventually, what if we took like all the triads of the chord here, like the G triad, right? G, the A minor triad, B minor triad, D minor triad, and the E. And you can play that over an E minor chord, all those different tonalities right there. Like, listen. Come up with licks. that another time. All right. Let's see. Finney, I do now, never did. I think of the chord and then the triads around it. The chord and the triads around. And then the scale I may be in. Hope I'm lucky. Well, that's all right. You know, we all get lucky. I hope I'm lucky too, you know. Just going through all this stuff right here too. But yeah, it's cool. Most people do, I think, you know, when they're playing the chords around it. Think of the triads and the shapes of the triads, you know. Through here, and you know, the shapes. You know. Look right here. The shapes. Like that. Minor triad. Minor triad right there. Stuff like that. Right. Part of this E minor chord like this. Or this one right here. Seeing the triads there, triads right there, triads right there. But figuring out where the pentatonic positions are right there are pretty cool. Then as well. We'll get to that. So, all right. So going back to here, not to there, to here, back to this first shape again. So we played all the top string sets. Now, what if we went down another string set? The B, the G, and the D, without the high E right here. Then we would have the D, B. Now, once again, we're back to the first one. So that first line of notes here, the E, B, G, D, those are all open strings. Right? So cut out the first two frets right there, and then you have the open string right there. And it would look like the first position pentatonic. So starting here, on the second string set, the B string, the G string, and the D string, we have only these notes. So we have the E right here. Here's the root. So where's the triad here? Well, here's one right here, the first one. Triad, E, G, and a B. That's your minor chord right there. A lot of people do that bend right there. So if I had a loop here going, just the E minor chord. Play any one of these notes. Here's the root. First, so it's a root triad. Here's the E, the G, the minor third, and then the B, open. That's the fifth. All kinds of stuff you can do here. Take that open D and the E. Bend up the A to the B. Hit this note. It's part of the pentatonic scale. Bend up to D. Pretty cool, right? Here's the triad. And going on to the next shape here, like that. Back to this next shape. You know, once again, the top string sets. So here's the string set. Second string set, dealing with just the B, the G, and the B, G, and the D string. So you're really digging in on where you could play here in this position. So instead of, you know, my darn G string, that didn't sound right. There you go. Close enough. For rock and roll. I see here, within all these mumbo jumbo notes and stuff in this crazy shape, is it really musical? I don't know. It's up to you. But you look inside here and I go, well, you know what? I'm in E minor. This is an E minor scale. That's all you really need to know. It's like in all this mumbo jumbo. Here's the E. I'm playing there. Right there. Where's the triad? Well, here's an E, the fifth. It would be like that. Nope. Sorry, that was E major. Got confused last week. So if you wanted to create a triad there, well, here it is right here. It's a first inversion minor triad. Because you have, the first one was right here. Second one's here. Because you have all the notes. You have the third, the G, the fifth again, and then the root. So why not? Those are notes you can focus on within this pentatonic scale. And you're safe. Check it out. Just an inversion. I can play that all day. While the other guitar player is playing this. Take it up. Right? Pretty cool. Oops. These bends are so... Careful of those. Pretty cool right there, right? And if you were to just move up a notch, kick it up a notch, here's the next position. If you're enjoying this video so far, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Why? Because you love me and I love you. So here it is right here. Position 3, minor pentatonic. Notice where your E's are. But if we focus on just the second string set right here. Really kind of makes you kind of focus on pinpointing what's going on here in this part of the neck on E. And here's my E. The third. Here's the fifth. Seventh. Third, fourth. Fifth. But 7th, root, and 3rd. That's all I have here to work with here on this. So I'll just kind of make the most of it. Bend up. Don't go too sharp. You really hear that when it's sharp, right? Right there. Now, where's a triad that you could play within this? Well, we just did this one. I think that's probably the closest one, because you're right there in that position. In this position, pentatonic. Look, right there, chord. So it really shares the same as this shape right here. Same thing here. Or you can go up to this next one. You know? Next one. Right there. Which is really part of this next shape position. So you're in this position. Let's try it. You can land at any one of these triad notes, which is part of this triad right here we played before. E. Up to here. Get 3 triads. Root, first inversion, second inversion. Second inversion because you're starting on the 5th. I think this one's more comfortable. Unless you're up here. But fingering-wise, you would never do that unless you're in this position. See? You're right there because there's more. Triad. But down here, oops. Which brings you to, you know, this shape right here, this 4th shape. Here it is. Here's the triad on this string set. Second string set. So I'm leaving out the high E, just the B, the G, and the D. And here it is. So if you're playing here, popular lift. Where's that? The 5th? Look at that. Sound familiar? I hit the E string. It's kind of, limits yourself to what you can play. Pretty cool. And here's the triad. So I have the 3 triads here. Then you're going up to the last shape right here, which is, where is it? If I could see. 5th position, but only 2nd string set. Well, here's the triad right here. Nope, that's not triad. There's the triad. Don't get this confused with the major. This would be a major triad, 2nd inversion right here. But there's no D in an E triad. That would be a minor 7th of it. So it's an E minor. It's like this. So within here, you still have this position. You can go to this triad, whatever's more comfortable. Or here. Oops. So you can always go to this E minor triad in this position. So we have this loop going on. Watch your intonation on this, right? Make sure you don't bend. All right. So in that position, then you get to the top again. You do the same thing as open. You have the first position. Just doing everything the same all over again, right here at the top. Same thing here. Here's your triad. Here's your pentatonic. So just like that. Some cool lines that way, right? Oh, okay. Oops. What is it? There it is. Nope. One more time. Okay. All right. So we went through those positions. Hopefully you're enjoying this so far. Any questions, let me know. M, are there movable shapes? Yes. Movable shapes. Yes, absolutely. Those are movable shapes. And when I'm showing these, all these are movable. So because I have the letters in there, they're stationary right there, but all of these positions, you just move whatever key. You just change the highlighted notes would just be a different note. You know, these are all movable. Like if this is E, if this was an A, right here, just play the same thing in A. And then up here, you'd have the first triad right here, your A minor triad right there. Right? Just like that. Then you have this. Once again, you have the second inversion for A minor here. First inversion right here. Second inversion there. Root version. It's all in A minor. But we're in E minor. So all movable. It's really cool. What shapes make you move? See, what shapes make you move? I'm not quite sure I understand that. What shapes make you move? Well, I mean, once you know the shapes, you're moving into the different positions because they all move within each other, you know? Just like this right here, in this E minor shape right here. You can take that off. You're moving through all of these. Right here. There's the E. Then you have the E here. Next position, here's E. Look at all the same notes. Fourth position. Fifth position. So look, I just played through 5 positions, hitting the same E. It's not the same like E where I played it, but it's the same register of E. It's not a here, not an E 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 here. But it's all this pitch. Position 1. Position 2. E. Position 3. Position 4. E. Or here, check that. Oops. Position 2. Position 3. Position 4. Position 5. Like that. So keeping an eye and an ear on the root note is very helpful for this when you're moving through the positions. Right there. And then following the triads where they are as well. Like here, 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 and here. Then once again on the next string set here, 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 oops, there, and here. So there, 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 and there. Now the last, we have 2 more. We have burned through these here real quick. So we go back down to here. We'll go up to our pentatonic. So once again, here's the open. Forget about those first 2. It's a movable shape, so it happens to be an E. It's just, this is, what you're seeing is this. That That first thing is the open, is the nut. Or that E, A, D, G, B, that's just the open strings right there. So for on this third string set, all we have here on the G string, the D, and the A, you have this part of the chord. And there's a triad right there. So you have the fifth, which is the B note here. You have the E, the root. You have the G. And that is the second inversion. Triad right there. And this is super helpful. This is what I've been trying to figure out recently. Awesome. Anything in particular that was maybe a light bulb moment or an aha moment, let me know here of what I'm doing here. So it's definitely movable. That's what we were going with. And pentatonic scale within this string set. I mean, you know, I'm sure you play this position all the time. But you ever focus on just these notes? If you do, you would notice that here's the fifth, the seventh, the root, minor third, fourth, third, fifth, fourth. Nope, sorry. The root, seventh, the fifth, seventh, root, minor third, fourth. So you know where your targets are right here. The fifth, the root, and minor third. So if I had this loop playing, I would know that I would be able to, here's my root. I can sit on any one of these notes. The fifth, I could even hit the open G. Focusing on, here's the triad. Next one up on this position right here would be the second shape. Now here it is, once again. Second position, but I'm focusing on the E and just this little shape right here. Now, a lot of times you might just play in one particular shape and you're not that familiar with the other shapes, and the reason for that is because you don't play in the other shapes. But if you played here, right there, as much as you did here, I guarantee you that you would know this other shape right here. We're only playing here though, where you have the root, the third, fourth, fifth, fourth, third, root, seventh here, and then the fifth here. There's a definite tonality to it that you don't get doing this. You play it here. A little tougher because you're in the meatier part of the neck here. And where's the triad there? Probably here in the same spot, because the next one up would be up here. It might be too far from where you are. Unless you're here, you can swing up to here. Right there, you know? You can't go to that one because we're only on this string set, third string set. Vamos. I arrived quite late. That's okay. But it's interesting. I don't quite follow the number 3/5 root and so on. I like E Lydian, but I don't know how to be creative or have a nice patron. Well, I mean, if you don't understand quite how to follow the root third fifth, it's pretty important to know that. You know, if you're sitting here in E in this position, or an E minor, you know, that's the root. If you're in E, the E note is always going to be the root. This G note is going to be the third, and the B is the fifth. You have a triad. That's what makes up a chord. So in this whole scale, it's the minor pentatonic scale, position 2. If you look at the E notes, it's the root, because they're E, that's the chord, E minor, it's an E. This G note is always the third right there, it's the minor third. And then the B is always the fifth right there. And those three notes make up the chord. Here. Different inversions of it, but only on this string set here, the A string, the D string, and the G string. So I played this chord. So if you hear an E minor chord like this, if I played this scale, follow the notes right here. But I'm only going to take the three, the G string, the B string, and the A string. And there's safe notes right here. That B is safe because it's the fifth. The E is safe, it's the root. The G is safe because it's the third. All three notes are right here. Same thing as here. Just a different inversion. Pretty cool, right? And then we go up to, oh, we've gone over a little bit here. So let's just burn through the rest of these here real quick. And we'll close that one out. Close that one out. And this third shape, actually, second shape. Here's the third shape, right here. If we focus on just the third string set, right here. Here's the triad right there. E minor triad. That's a pretty cool area right here. Nice beefy part of the neck right here. You know, that you're at, like, right here. Right there, right? So you have the triad right here too. Pentatonic scale. Here's the third, fourth, fifth, seventh. Triad. Pretty cool right there in this shape. All right. Lemos. Cool, man. Keep doing this. It's the best trophy yellow smile. All right. I'm glad you enjoyed this. Very, very cool. And over here, fourth position right here. But third string set only. Pretty cool area right here. I mean, this is a very common E. You know this E minor shape right here is chord. Pretty cool place to play the solo if you wanted to, just like this, right? Right in here. Common. You know, the shape. So you have that E triad, where would it be? So you have an E, you have the G, the fifth. Here it is right here. That's your triad. The third, the G, the fifth is the B, and here's the E. So if you have this chord playing, play this triad. So you're leading with it on the heavier side of the, on the third, on the bottom. Root, third. You know, it's a little flat. Try to fix that. Okay, then you go up to the last shape right here, the fifth one. Third string set. Pretty interesting. And here's the triad right there. There it is. That's the only position you have that has that note. So you have the, because you don't have it here, on the third. If you went to here, this triad right here. We just did that one. But in this position, you can go up to here. Look, it's just part of the E minor chord. Same thing down here. Second inversion. So on the fifth, the root, the fifth. So if you're in this shape right here, oops. You go to that resting chord right there. Just like this. Here's the E, the third, G, fifth, you know. The G, third, fourth, fifth, seventh, root, third. Watch, I'll bend up the root to the third. Minor third. I love that bend. All right. Then you end up again on the first position. And here's the same triad. All the way back to all the positions right there. All right, so we got one left to do. Can you give an example of using the E minor triad inversions back to back, up and down the neck, in a musical example? I think playing them in sequence gives a nice color. Can you give an example of using the E minor triad inversions back to back, up and down the neck, in a musical example? Yeah, well, I was kind of doing that in a way. With this last one right here, it was, it'd be like this. One second. Just a little bit out of tune here. This is for your pleasure. The temperature in this room is constantly changing, so it's giving me knocking me out. See how that goes. Okay, let's try this again here. So, like this right here, if I was playing the shape right. Here's this triad shape here. So just went through these shapes. A little bit musical, right? Playing through the shapes. Like here. Something like that. Hopefully that helped. Exactly. Awesome. All right, so we just have one more left we can get through. We're running way over, but it doesn't matter. We're going to have fun. We got to complete this journey right here of this exercise. So going back to the first one again. Now in the lower string set, the D, the A, and the E. Here's part of that pentatonic scale. Oops. Nope. Just like this. Here's the whole thing. But the lower string set, D, A, and E string. If you're enjoying this video so far, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel, because I love you. It's right there. And here it is. Where's the triad? There it is. Looks like a G chord. That's a G. We don't want a G, we want an E. Here's an E chord. This G, here's an E, right? If I play the third on the bottom, it's still an E chord. Wow, I just felt my string slip from under my finger. Weird. And there it is right there. G, there's an E chord with the G on the bottom. So that's the first triad right there. So in this shape right here, it's an E minor chord. You can rest on this over this chord. Listen, might not sound so beautiful, but check it out. It works. Here's the E minor pentatonic position. If we went to this next one, right here, position 2, just the bottom string set is like this. Here's that E again, but I get to go down to the 3rd, 5th, root. Here's the triad, it's right under your fingers. So once again, if you have this, any one of these notes in this triad is safe to land on. That's safe too. Pretty cool right there. If we went on to this third shape right there. Whoops. Here's just the lower string set. It's a pretty cool area right here. So symmetrical. I used to have a riff in an old band of mine. It was kind of like, it was like this. It was like, something like that. It was like written by the great Dave Scott. Something like that. So really, different shapes, tend to, lend itself to different types of riffs. And don't mind my tone right now. Something's going a little bit weird with the tone, but can't always rely on a good tone, right? Just gotta go with it. And so in this area right here, where's the triad? It's right here. Like the other one's down here. Here's the E, 3rd, 5th on the bottom. So if you had this going on, here's your chord. 2nd inversion. 1st inversion. The beauty of, knowing here's your 5th. If you're over here and you want to screw it up completely, well, you have a flat 5. You know where the 5 is. So we'll brighten it up a little bit like we did. Pretty interesting right there. All right, so just a couple more here left. Going up to this 4th shape right here. Bottom string set. So here's your E, the 3rd, the 5th, and on the bottom you have the 5th. So where's the triad? Same thing right here. There's the other one. Oh, you have this one. Go to the shape. E minor. So it would look like this. Here's the triad. Triad. So here's all the triads. Right here. You have this one. This one. First inversion. Second inversion. Root. Check this out. One last shape right here. It's fifth position. And here's the bottom string set. Oops. So you hear all those bad notes. And here's the same shape you were at, the triad. So if you're playing over here, you have. See? Fifth. Here's the chord. So you have all of them. All right. So, sounds like Paranoid. It is, basically. You have your... You have your riff. That's that fifth and the octave. Not gonna play because I'll get a copyright claim, but it's something like that. And if you have those notes, fourth to the fifth, seventh to the root, you have that riff. All right. So we went way over today, but we had some fun, right? Give you a round of applause for hanging out with me here today. Thank you so much. You guys are the best. Any questions about this stuff? Hopefully you enjoyed this. And Finny, way you go. Way you go. Very interesting. Thank you very much. That's great. Exactly. Tried to help as much as I could, give examples. And while I got your attention, I'll just give you a quick thing. I do have my guitar course I'd like to just mention here. Love for you to be a part of it. I just go over 4 different topics where it's fretboard memorization, very easy way to memorize the whole neck, a circle of fifths, figuring out the same stuff in all 12 keys, very helpful. Blues soloing, where we have lots of backing tracks and PDFs. Speaking of PDFs, if you're interested in the graphs that I'm going to create, some new graphs for today, just email me at info@jerrycherry. I'll shoot those over to you. And then we talk about the cage system. So check that out. There's a link in the description if you're interested in that. And also, let me know if this was helpful for you. Any light bulb moments, any aha moments. If you have any comments about this, like if questions about it, let me know. And if you have any ideas for any future things, like next week, what you'd like to do. Speaking of next week, I think I'll be here on Sunday as well. Sunday looks pretty good so far, I think. But I think actually I'm coming home from California on Sunday. So we're going to have to push this back to Monday next week, just so you have a heads up. So you can plan your week around this. Next Monday for the live, 12 o'clock. And so thank you guys for hanging in here with me and watching. I love yous. And if you're just coming in a little bit late, go back to the beginning and check this out. We went through all 5 positions of the pentatonic scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we found the triads within that. Not only did we play the positions, but we broke it down into 4 string sets where we kind of zoomed in on just the 4 string sets, the E, the B, and the G. Then the next one, the second string set, the B, the G, the D. Third string set, the D, the A, no, the G, the D, and the A. And then the fourth string set, D, A, E in position. So it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun also to do it that way. So you can really kind of dig in and have a good practice. So whenever you pick up the guitar and you're like playing the same thing over and over again, well, you know, focus in on just one area and do just part of this. And really be pretty cool, pretty helpful. So thank you, Dana. Thank you, Finney. Very, 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 very cool. Yeah, thank you very much, guys. So remember, be cool, be kind, be cherry. And if you want to see another video very similar to this, identifying the triads within the major pentatonic scale, I'll put that up right over there for you. I love you. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next time. Ciao, y'all. Peace.